welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching Channels Television, celebrating 21 years of professional broadcasting. This is the news at 10, and here's a reminder of our major stories tonight. Federal government announces plans to inject additional 350 billion naira into the economy to fund critical sectors. Experts describe Nigeria's current recession as self-inflicted. They say the journey to economic downturn started several years ago. Federal government blames inability to rescue abducted Chibok girls on divisions and insincerity among Boko Haram members. And latest figures from the UN indicate that over 1 million people have fled southern Sudan in the wake of the country's civil war. Just to quickly remind you that all our top stories are on our website, channelstv.com, and on youtube.com/channelsweb. And do log on to m.channelstv.com to view us live on your mobile device. You can also download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS and Windows phones from their respective stores. Besides the news and updates, the Channels TV app has an Eyewitness feature. We encourage you to use it to share those pictures, videos or news of happenings around you. Just install the app, then tap and swipe to reveal the Eyewitness menu and then follow the instructions.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
We have some pictures that were sent in to us, and let's share them with you. And we can begin with this one sent in from the Okene area in Kogi State. It shows the impact of a fallen tree on this road, forcing commuters to wait for long hours. Our Eyewitness reporter commends youths in the area for their efforts to clear the road. And our next photo was sent in from Ayobo area of Ogun State. It shows people wading through floodwaters to get to their destination. And here's one from Akoka in Yaba local council area of Lagos State. It shows the aftermath of heavy rains. Here's a photo showing bad portions of this road within the modern market in Makudi, the Benue State capital. Our Eyewitness reporter calls on the state authorities to fix it. Finally, we have this photo showing vehicles in a gridlock along the Enugu-Onisha road. Our Eyewitness reporter says he spent several hours on one spot due to the poor condition of the road.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Thanks for your pictures. Do send us some more. Now let's get a bit of perspective on our lead story on the economy, the recession and the government's exit plan. I'm now being joined on the news at 10 by an economist and Chief Executive Officer of UHY Margie & Co., Mr. Gabriel Idahosa. Thanks a lot for joining us on the news at 10 tonight.
Thank you.
Now you heard that the ministers, they spoke extensively today about what the government is trying to do. We'll get to that. But you also heard from some experts who say this whole thing is self-inflicted. Do you agree?
Well, it's obvious, whichever specific sector you want to look at, how we were doing and how we got into where we were is quite obvious. You had the petroleum bill that was there for 10 years, and of course the foreign investors were not going to wait. So they moved on to Angola, to Mozambique, to Uganda. So we have lost billions of dollars in that sector. You go to other sectors, go to rails. For many years, the last 20 years, a lot of foreign companies wanted to build rail lines. They wanted to invest in that sector. They just needed the right policies, just like they did in the telecom industry. The policies were not there. They moved on to Rwanda and other countries that had policies. So for every sector you take, you find how government refused to do what they knew should be done because of our own internal politics. And then investors kept moving on to where the environment was right for investors, because investors don't wait.
But some other people are arguing that what has happened to the oil prices isn't specifically anybody's single fault. I mean, they fell. I mean.
Yeah, in any case, we knew at least 8 years ago that these prices were going to fall. It is not a crisis that the oil price worldwide has fallen. It was something that was known to happen. What the observers could not say was exactly what month or what year it was going to fall. Because when Obama was elected in his first time, one of his major policy thrust was to make America independent of any country in oil and gas. And he worked exactly on that to ensure that America can survive without oil or gas from any other country. We knew since then that oil prices were going to fall. Whether it was going to be 2015 or 2014, nobody knew, but it was clear that oil prices were going to fall.
Okay, so now that we're here, let's look at some of the interventions. We heard the finance minister say 350 billion naira into the economy. Is that a big enough punch to deal with the jump start that we need?
Certainly not, certainly not. What does it take to build a road in Nigeria now? 4 or 5 billion, let's say. And then what do you want to put in railways? What do you want to put in the seaports? What do you want to put in airports? So 350 million is a start.
Billion.
Billion,
yeah.
But it is not a jump start. You need to do perhaps 3, 4, 5 times of that. If you start building 10 roads across Nigeria, you can't say that is a start. But if you are building 50 roads across Nigeria, that is a jump start. By the number of people you get to work, by the amount of contractors and suppliers that will ride on those projects. But if you start one road in the southwest, one road in the northwest, another road in the south, in each of the zones, the impact will just dissipate and you don't see any real impact.
And the finance minister also talked about improving, the time lag, the time it takes between appropriation and then the money actually getting there. You heard her say that, and then you have the Minister of Budget and Planning asking people to be understanding and people to be patient. Could they improve on that, the way she's saying it?
Yes, of course. It's not really whether would they improve, because the process is well known. What you can do in 2 months, you can do in 2 weeks, if all the agencies decide that they want to do it. So it's not whether they could. The question is, will they improve? Will you just fast-track decision making? Because all of them are there in Abuja, from one office to the other. You could get these things done. So it's just a matter of how much speed the agencies want to work.
We've seen that intervention. What do you think we should do about monetary policy interventions that are making it difficult for some businesses to get money and finance? Because yes, we know that this 350 is being pushed in, but also there's the other issue on the other hand that it's extremely difficult to get funding for businesses at this time. What should we be doing quickly now?
Well, if the interest rate is 17, 18, 20%, that alone means that a lot of people are cut out from borrowing at any rate to enable them to do business. So the interest rate alone cuts out a large amount of investors who want to borrow and invest and create employment. And you have an economy where there's a financial squeeze. All the sectors are talking about monies being taken out of the system. So you don't have so much money flowing in the system that justifies your saying, oh, we should increase interest rates to withdraw money from the system. Because the inflation you have now is not caused by high demand. It's not a demand pull inflation because people have a lot of money and therefore they can buy. It is a cost push inflation. The cost of products have risen because the dollar is high, because power is expensive. And so you cannot fight that kind of inflation by increasing interest rates. You want to reduce interest rates. You want to intervene to reduce cost of doing business, whether it is power, whether it's the road network, whether it's the ports, whether it's the airports. So you want to invest heavily in reducing the cost of doing business.
All right. CEO of UHY Margie & Co., Mr. Gabriel Idahosa, thanks for sharing your thoughts on the news at 10 tonight. Let's cross over to Abuja now. Here's my colleague, Ibrahim Adra. Hey, Ibrahim.
Good to see you, Ichoma. The president has ordered that appropriate disciplinary action be taken against those responsible for the wrongful incision in his speech delivered on September the 8th, 2016 at the launch of the Change Begins With Me campaign. Presidential spokesman Mr. Garba Shehu says the presidency observed the similarities between the paragraph in President Barack Obama's 2008 victory speech and what President Muhammadu Buhari read in paragraph 9 of the 16-paragraph address. He also notes that the similarities are too close to be passed off as coincidence. A deputy director in the presidency has accepted responsibility for the insertion of the contentious paragraph. Now, the presidency says it regrets this unfortunate incident and will ensure this does not happen again. The president, however, asked Nigerians to look beyond this incident and focus on the message of change which the country needs in order to restore its cherished values. A coalition of prominent civil society organizations under the auspices of the Say No campaign in Nigeria has asked principal officers of the National Assembly to resign over the budget padding scandal rocking the House of Representatives. At a media briefing in Abuja, the co-convener of the group, Mr. Ezenwa, called for constitution of an independent panel of inquiry to undertake a comprehensive review and audit of constituency projects between 2004 and 2016.
As the National Assembly resumes plenary on the 21st September 2016, we maintain that the current budget padding crisis is indicative of the general malaise facing our society and the depth of the morass into which Nigeria's ruling elite have dragged our country. We also restate our demands of 30th August 2016. Given the foregoing, we make the following demands. Immediate constitution of an independent panel of inquiry to undertake a comprehensive review and audit of the constituency projects and constituency offices between 2014 and 2016, with a view to identifying and indicting culprits, recommending indicted persons for prosecution, and looted funds recovered.
The Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Mr. Usani Uguru Usani, is attributing Nigeria's infrastructure decay to lack of continuity in policies and programs of successive governments. Now, the minister, who is a guest lecturer at the inauguration of the Course 25 of the National Defense College in Abuja, advised participants to cultivate attitudinal change to ensure the success of the federal government's initiative. Meanwhile, the Ekiti state government has compensated residents whose buildings were demolished as work commences on a flyover bridge in Ado-Ekiti, the state capital. Governor Ayodele Fayose says the project, which will gulp up to 5 billion naira, is expected to ease the flow of traffic while transforming Ado-Ekiti into a modern city.
Properties being destroyed in Ado-Ekiti, the Ekiti state capital. What looks like rubble now will eventually give way to a flyover bridge, the first of its kind in the state capital. Nothing in the way of the project is spared, as structures owned by individuals and corporate bodies are brought down. Governor Ayodele Fayose is personally ensuring things are done right. He asked the people to bear with the state government while the construction is ongoing, saying everything will be completed within a year.
It is in our interest that we make the environment better than we met it, keep promises, and ensure that the future of this state is better than it. In due course, in another 1 year, to the 18th of June, appeal to them to please bear with us. It will soon be over, and everybody will be happy thereafter. We have taken into consideration the depreciation, the effect of the payment on them, and we've been fair to them.
Some of 299,000. Those whose homes and other property were affected got compensation from the state government.
The developmental project is for all of us. They are still being compensated for their properties that have been demolished. Some people have their shops there, some people have their residential apartments, some people have just their fence, some people it's just the pavement. But whatsoever is being destroyed or pulled down, due to the construction going on, they have to be compensated in accordance with the law. And that is all we are doing today.
The 1.2-kilometer flyover will cost the state over 5 billion naira.
Still to come on the news at 10, global ratings agency Standard & Poor's lowers Nigeria's sovereign credit ratings to BB on oil prices in weak growth. Action Business News. Do join us again.